Well, are you saying what I'm saying?
I most definitely am not.
Cinderella, Hansel and Gretel, Rapunzel, Little Red Riding Hood. You likely grew up with these stories, thanks to the Brothers Grimm. But here's the twist. These tales weren't originally created by them. Jacob, born in 1785, and Wilhelm Grimm, born in 1786, collected age-old folk narratives passed down through generations. Born in Hanau, Germany, the Grimms experienced early hardships, losing their father and facing poverty. Despite these challenges, they excelled in school and formed a close bond, later studying law at the University of Marburg. There, an inspiring professor sparked their passion for medieval literature and folk traditions. As librarians, they found ample time to research. In 1812, they published Kinder- und Hausmärchen, a landmark collection that not only preserved timeless tales, but also laid the groundwork for modern German studies. Their work was deeply influenced by early 19th century Romantic nationalism and earlier collections, like Johann Karl August Museus' Folk Tales of the Germans. With oral traditions threatened by industrialization, the Grimms believed these stories were key to preserving German cultural identity. In 1806, after Jacob's return from Paris, their friend Brentano enlisted their help to expand his folk tale collection. Inviting local storytellers into their home, the Grimms compiled manuscripts, often heavily edited and sometimes sourced from middle-class or aristocratic acquaintances. Wilhelm's wife, family members, and even the nursery maid contributed classics like Hansel and Gretel and Sleeping Beauty. Early drafts, such as the 53 tales collected for Brentano's Des Knaben Wunderhorn, were later rediscovered as the Eulenberg manuscript, an important precursor to the Grimm celebrated collection. Wilhelm took charge of editing and rewriting from 1815 until his death. He standardized the style by adding dialogue, refining plots, and weaving in psychological, religious, and cultural motifs from Germanic, Norse, classical, and biblical sources. His revisions often doubled the length of the original tales. Later editions were polished for a bourgeois audience, removing explicit sexual elements, softening violence, and adding Christian themes. For instance, explicit aspects of Rapunzel were eventually removed, and French-sounding names were replaced with more distinctly German ones, reinforcing national identity. A recurring motif in many Grimm's tales is spinning. Spinning, especially of flax, was a common domestic task, and the spinning room, Spinnstube, was also a space for preserving oral storytelling traditions. In these stories, a woman's approach to spinning often symbolizes her character. The spindle came to represent diligent, well-ordered womanhood. In some tales like Rumpelstiltskin, spinning takes on a more menacing role. The Grimm's work has drawn feminist critique as well. Emma Tennant, for example, argues that by recording folk tales originally told by mothers, the brothers ended up emphasizing male heroism while reducing female characters to symbols of beauty or passive virtue. Yet scholars like Heinz Röhrlecke maintain that the tales accurately reflect the rustic simplicity and sexual modesty of German culture. A culture deeply tied to the mysterious, dangerous forest seen in stories like Little Red Riding Hood. Jungian critics such as Alistair Harker suggest that the deaths of the brothers' father and grandfather influenced their portrayal of paternal figures and female villains, though it's important to remember that Grimms were collectors rather than original authors. Between 1812 and 1864, Kinder- und Hausmärchen was published 17 times. 7 large editions with all the collected tales and extensive annotations, and 10 small editions featuring 50 tales for children. Emil Grimm, their younger sibling, illustrated the small editions with Christian imagery. Cinderella's mother appears as an angel, and Little Red Riding Hood's grandmother is shown with a Bible. In Germany, these tales also appeared as poster-sized broadsides and single-story editions. Beyond fairy tales, the Grimms were pioneering folklorists. At the University of Marburg, they linked culture to language, insisting that authentic cultural expression lay in a language's natural grammar. They published early heroic songs and legends, and even began work on the monumental Deutsches Wörterbuch, a comprehensive historical dictionary of the German language. Kinder- und Hausmärchen, their collection of fairy tales for children, wasn't an instant bestseller. Early editions faced criticism for not appealing to children, prompting the brothers to revise and adapt the tales. By the 1870s, their stories were taught in Prussian schools, and by the 20th century, They became Germany's second most popular book after the Bible. This popularity sparked extensive literary, folkloric and psychological analysis, even as some tales were later misused during the Nazi era to fuel nationalism and anti-Semitism. After decades of scholarly work and cultural contributions, the Grimm's lives eventually drew to a close. Wilhelm Grimm, whose revision shaped much of their enduring legacy, died in Berlin on December 16, 1859, at the age of 73 from natural causes. His older brother Jacob Grimm passed away on September 20, 1863, in Berlin at the age of 78, having witnessed the growing influence of their collected folk tales. Their peaceful departures marked the end of an era, leaving behind a cultural treasure that continues to inspire generations. Today, the influence of the Brothers Grimm is undeniable. Their fairy tales have been translated into over 160 languages. Institutions like the Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm Center at Humboldt University in Berlin preserve their private library and celebrate their enduring legacy. Despite debates over their often graphic content, the Grimm's collection remains a vital, beloved part of our cultural heritage.